The lesson I cherish the most is how important it is to love what you do. Always seek out things you love and always work hard once you find it. You can't stop people from trying to limit your dreams, but you can stop it from becoming a reality.
My mind can handle the grind, but my body knows it's time to say goodbye, and that's okay. You asked for my hustle, I gave you my heart.
This is what we talk about all the time. You know, you have a bump in the road, you fall, you get back up, and you go after it again, right? That's what we do.
All right, Eric Barbosa with Henson Brand, and I got Cara Delane.
Hello.
And we got a special guest, Raul Marquez, El Diamante.
That's it. El Diamante, por favor, please.
That's right. That's right. Sorry, I don't want you to hit me. But we got Raul here, and for you guys that don't know, I know you guys watch us on social media, and you get to see all the giveaways and all the engagement that we do on social media platforms, along with Raul. But we don't ever get some time to get you guys to know us and things that we're about. And one of the biggest things at Henson Brand that's important to us is winning. Yeah. And you guys might be winning giveaways. Some other people might be getting great deals on cars, but we're really driven to win. Our culture's built on it, and that's why we teamed up with Raul Marquez, because I couldn't think of a better person, especially in the area, than you, who maybe you can introduce yourself with your background, and you got something there that you accomplished that's pretty huge.
Right. Well, I was an Olympian. I mean, I've been in the boxing world for many years, ever since I was 7 years old, and I'm 49 now. And even to this point, I'm still involved in the boxing world to a certain extent. So, I was an Olympian. I started boxing when I was 7 years old, because my dad has always been a boxing fan, and I went through the whole 7 years. I went through the whole amateur system. To make the story shorter, right? I went through the whole amateur program. I won many national titles. In 1992, I made the USA national team, and I was able to compete in the Olympic team in Barcelona, 1992. And I was an Olympian. I lost in the quarterfinals. My goal was always, to win the gold medal, but it didn't happen. But I still accomplished. I mean, that's the highest you could get in the amateurs, to be an Olympian. You can't go any further. So after that, I turned professional, and then after that, my goal was to win a world title, become a world champion, and this is what we have here. Actually, I have another belt, which is the USBA, which is a national title before you win the world title. So I won the national title, which is the United States Boxing Association USBA title, and then I won the IBF title, world title. So we become a world champion. And I had many fights. I had like 44 professional fights. I lost 4, and I had 29 knockouts. So I had a pretty successful professional boxing career. And even when I was boxing, I got into broadcasting, right? So I was already preparing myself for after boxing. So now, I want to say since 2012, I've been with Showtime Boxing. They're one of the biggest networks that cover boxing. They cover all the big fights. And I've been doing broadcasting with them in Spanish and English. I do a series called Showbox, and then I do the big fights on Showtime Championship Boxing in Spanish, which now, the last 2 shows, I had an opportunity to do it in English, the big shows, on the Saturday shows, right? So I'm working on that, trying to get that job, and it takes, we'll get more into that, a lot of discipline, dedication, because, just because I was a fighter doesn't mean I'm gonna show up and, I know everything in boxing. No, you got to do things to get there. You got to study the fighters. You got to read bios. So I was an Olympian. I was a world champion. Now I'm a broadcaster for Showtime, and I'm excited to be here.
So, he's a legend.
He's a legend. and something that you just triggered me. You started boxing at 7 years old. Right. Okay. At 7, didn't you want to be outside playing with toys and running around with the kids?
Absolutely. I didn't have, like everybody says, I didn't have that much of a childhood because of my focus on boxing. When I was little, I had this journal, and everybody's different. I had this journal when I was in school, when the teacher says, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or, if they put you on the moon, what would you do? If you were able to travel, what would you got to finish it up. And I would, back then I would always say, I want to travel the whole world. I want to be in different cities, different countries. I want to be in the best casinos, the best hotels. I want to be able to do this, do that. And guess what? I ended up doing it. At that age, when I was 8, 9 years old, I want to, and I was little, so I want a Pac-Man, Atari, game. Back then it was Atari, remember?
Yeah.
So
Atari.
I want to be able to, I want machines like that to be able to play at home, you know, like, and of course, because my discipline, my dedication, and my accomplishments in boxing, I mean, I'm able to buy machines like that now.
I'm going to ask you something, because I think you told me the story before.
Right.
You wrote this down. What did your teacher tell you?
My teacher,
remember you told me somebody.
No, that's when yeah, you got a good memory. That's when I graduated from high school. I wanted to be an air traffic controller. Why? I don't know, but that's what I wanted to be. And I went to Central College, you know, and I told the counselor there, I said, look, I'm gonna be I'm a boxer, I'm an amateur boxer, but this was in 1989. And I just made the national boxing team, and I'm gonna be traveling the whole world for 4 years, and then my 4th year, 92, I'm gonna make the Olympic team. Can you help me? Like, I don't know, I didn't know anything about college and how, you know, the classes. Can you help me how to take basics, or what I need to do to get there to become an air traffic controller? And he told me, son, forget about boxing. You're not gonna be an Olympian. You're not gonna go to the Olympics. And I said, okay, but so, you know, you need to focus on school. And I said, okay, yeah, I understand, but I can I do both? He's like, no, listen, you need to do this. And I said, you know what? I'll be back. I walked out. Of course, I was like, you know, I was mad, and I was probably calling bad names and all that, because I'm like, this guy just told me I've been doing this.
Fail.
Yeah, this guy just told me I'm not gonna be an Olympian. I cannot make the Olympic team.
Right.
I said, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on my boxing career.
And
That's
I'm
what I
gonna show
did.
him.
I'm gonna go all the way, and I'm, you know, that made me run faster. That made me run that extra mile. That made me hit the heavy bag more, sparring more, just be more disciplined. I said, I'm gonna prove this guy wrong.
Did it motivate you?
It was super motivating. I mean, that, you know, he helped me. I could say in some kind of way, even though he didn't lead me the right way. I think he should have said, look, son, you could take this basic classes here, like at this time, and then you could go train at this time, and, you know, we'll see which one, how it goes. You know, maybe you become an air traffic controller, maybe become an Olympian. Obviously, he didn't direct me in the right way, as a counselor should, I think. You know, he should have, I had options, you know. So, by the way, when I graduated, I don't know what it is now, but I had like a 3.5 grade point average, so I was smart, but then I got hit too many times. So
you know, that brings a point, right? And you know, Kara graduated from Texas Tech.
I did.
Which she went through.
Luckily, my counselor did not speak to me that way. She was very encouraging.
Well, that's good.
Which is a huge accomplishment, right? And I'm sure, you know, going through that, I'm taking two different scenarios here. You crossed paths with the counselor that told you couldn't do something. You took what would have been a negative perception or energy, and you turned it into a positive. It was fuel for your career, where you came across maybe a counselor that supported what you were doing, and two different ways to accomplish something, right? Now, you know, for us in the industry, and Kara, you know, we deal with people going up and down, positive, you know, one day negative the next day. And I always, to me, it's very simple. It's all you react to things. You know, you got an action taken and you took reaction. Right. You know, you got action regardless positive or negative, and you took a reaction. What kept you so focused for, you know, and I'll ask you here in a second, Kara, on your goal? What was it that somebody told you can't accomplish this? What drove you in your head to say, wait a minute, that's not going to stop me. I'm going to not only go, I'm going to make the team, and then after that, I'm going to pursue this career and be a world champ.
Well, to be honest with you, like, again, everybody's different, but when somebody tells me that I can't do anything, I drive off of that. You know, like when somebody tells me you can't do it, I'm going to do it. I'm that kind of guy. Even up until now, you can't do it, I'm going to do it. So that was my drive. That was my drive. And of course, you know, I had a you know, good family support, family foundation. You know, my dad had always been a boxing fan. So, you know, and he's the one that got me into boxing. You know, I was born in Mexico. I was born in a small town called Vallehermoso, Tamaulipas, right? And I was born with a midwife. I don't know if people know what a midwife is, but I was not born in a hospital. And you know, I was born in a one-bedroom house, you know, dirt floor. Just that's the way it was, you know. And when I came out, my dad always said, "Oh, look, he's throwing punches." That's the story. He's throwing punches. I'm gonna make him a world champion. So that's the story for real. So yeah, just somebody telling me that I can't do it. That was my drive.
Right. So Kara, you went to school, and I'm sure you went through some negative, right? That maybe you couldn't accomplish this. And perspective on a young woman going to Texas Tech and then getting into the auto industry. Yeah. What are some things that you dealt with that?
I definitely think, well, my drive was from early on, from an injury that I had that kind of, you know, springboarded me into the speaking stuff and public speaking and wanting to, you know, take that advertising to another level, because that's something that I got taken away from me at one time. But then also after college, you know, I had these high expectations, as most college graduates do. You know, I was gonna go to law school, took the LSAT, had all these big plans for myself, and in reality, I was, you know, going down a road that I don't think I had built for myself. And so jumping into the automotive industry, I mean, to this day, there's a lot of people that don't even know what I do, what industry I work in, and that's fine. But I also get a lot of feedback from college classmates, professors, family and friends that are, you know, they'll look at me and say, you got a bachelor's degree, you graduated with honors, and you work at a car dealership? Because they have a stigma of what the automotive industry is. And to be completely honest, I had that same stereotype walking in when I met you. I was like, what in the world? I don't know how to sell cars, you know? And after going through the process and being here for about a month, I realized that it's exactly opposite of what I thought it was gonna be. And so now when people, you know, tell me, oh, you work in the automotive industry, it's like it's no longer a slap in the face to me. It's like, oh yeah, and what do you do?
What do you do? Which is part of that winning spirit, and this is why I have these, you know, this is why we're gonna start doing this with Henson Brand and some leadership stuff, motivation, competitive edge, all these things, because, you know, there's somebody watching right now that this video, I'm one of those guys that wakes up in the morning, watch motivation. I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. I take that, you know,
and he sends it to us every morning.
Every morning. They get a video every morning. Some like it, some don't. I don't care. But I know that we're going to win by any means necessary. And we're going to do a lot of this stuff to get to the people that to know us. You guys see us on social media. You see him doing the other stuff, but there's a whole different core, right? And which brings another question of how did you get that iceberg, right? The top. Everybody sees the top of the iceberg.
But what's underneath?
But what's underneath? How did we get to the top? And you just said something that you answered my question. We all have mentors. Who was your mentor in the boxing world? And I mean, because you're talking about 7 years old, right? Raul. You're talking about 7 years old. At 7, I was waking up so I can watch Muppet Babies. So I wanted to get up early to watch cartoons, and then run outside. You were boxing, so is it a good assumption to say your dad had something to do with that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. My dad, you know, he was a huge boxing fan coming up, you know, when he was young, but just didn't have the background, the money to, you know, be a fighter. You know, it takes time, and it takes not so much about the money, you know, but
resources.
The resources, the resources. He was in Mexico, and at that point, you know, he didn't have the resources, the background, all that. But he was always a big boxing fan, and I want to say that he was the one that pushed me the most, you know. And obviously I liked it too. I liked the whole point of winning a trophy, like my first trophy. And I can't just say my dad, because my mom was there cooking for me, all the healthy, you know. Once I got to a big level, the national team, then it was about more dieting and trying to make weight, getting stronger. So she would be supporting me as you know, as a mom, of course, and then just, you know, giving me the right foods, eating the right foods. But when I won my first trophy, it's like, oh man, this is cool. You know, Salvation Army Boys Club, 1980, I believe, in downtown Houston. And I won my first trophy, and my dad would clean it every day. He'll put on, before you know it, 10 trophies, 20, and I liked it too because I'm like, man,
Was it
at that
addicting?
age, it was
The winning, the acquiring that.
for me. It was at that age for me, and I could say for me because again, I'm always saying that
Yeah.
if my wife has learned anything about me, everybody's different. That's she could tell you, what have you learned from me ever since we got together. Everybody's different because everybody has different head. Everybody thinks different, but yeah, for me, it's like I wanted to win more trophies. You know, then for the TV, it was not that many trophies fit there, so then we had to get a trophy case, and I'm like, I want to try to fill out.
Right.
Yeah.
This part right here, okay, that's full. Then you got the one up here, here. I want to fill it out.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see. And then after I filled that up, which I did, we had to get another one. And then after that, it's like, I mean, now let's box the trophies now. You know, it gets old. So yeah, that was, you know, and winning tournaments. And when you win tournaments, when you know, say you win locally here in Houston, then you go to the state, and at that age you're traveling.
Right.
You know, you're making road trips to Tyler, Texas, Dallas,
right.
Whatever, you know. And then when I won the National Junior Olympics, Marquette, Michigan, my first time on an airplane, and then I'm flying everywhere all of a sudden. Like, I want to go to a different city now.
Yeah.
But if you want to go there, guess what? You got to win.
Yeah.
And you just can't win by just showing up. What do you have to do? You gotta run, you gotta diet, you gotta do sparring and hit the bag, you know, all the gym work. Because if somebody out there is gonna be in better shape than you, or a lot of people, kids out there are gonna want the same thing you want. Yeah. So you gotta be on your toes, man.
Which brings you know, back to the next question. It's funny, it's just all going through.
Right.
Your parents were big Catholics, so you had a support system.
Yeah.
At home, regardless of what your financial situation was,
right.
You had that. Then your catalyst for your drive to be a champion, like you just said something, people, that iceberg thing, you get the top of the iceberg, but everything under it, nobody really understands it. Nobody understands that to get this, hours,
you just don't show up.
You just don't get it.
No, I just don't show up. Hey, I'm a world champion.
Right.
You know, whenever you see a big fight on TV, big pay-per-view event, you see all them big name fighters. You're like, man, you know, all of a sudden after that, I get a lot of, you know, I own a boxing fitness gym, which is not a competitive gym, but my phone starts ringing. You get kids and moms and dads. Yeah, my son wants to be a world champion, you know. So all of a sudden they think they could, but you just don't show up and you know, have all this and all this fame and all that. No, you know, all the discipline.
Can you teach that? Is that what they come to you for? They think if you're a world champion,
well,
you can teach my son to be a world champion.
Yeah, of course. You know, they do think that but they don't know
what
the
work
time
it takes,
and the discipline, and just, it's not easy. It takes, and not everyone is built for that, you know. But if you really want something that bad, I mean, you have to put it in your mind, and so even when things don't go your way, you got to keep trying.
What were things you did? What were like your routine? You know, there's that, back to Kobe Bryant. Whatever. But, you know, he woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, he had a different routine. What routine did you have that was something you didn't negotiate?
Whenever I got to a point, and we're talking at the amateur level, because, you know, that's where I started. You know, so whenever I got to a point that, at first when I was 7, 8 years old, 9, you're gonna understand, it was like a hobby, it was something to do, but I liked it. I liked getting the trophies. I got the rush about getting my hand raised. Man, I'm getting raised all the time. I I hardly ever lose. I mean, I had like almost 200 amateur fights. I might have lost like 10, 12 fights, and they were all close fights that I lost.
200 amateur fights.
And the rematches that I lost, I came back. I mean, I had like maybe 12 losses, something like that. And the rematch, and they were close fights. The rematch I would win, you know, when we got the rematch. So I wanted to get the rematch because I felt it was a bad decision or whatever. But my thing was, you know, when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, traveling, trophies, being in different cities, all that, you know, that was my rush. But once I got to the national level, my schedule was like, okay, you know, gotta wake up in the morning, 5 o'clock, even before I went to school, you know, wake up, go run, you know, get off of school. My dad would tell me all the time, he was a machinist, you know, he would get home at around 3:30, I'm gonna take a nap, wake me up to go to the gym. My dad could have been hanging around with his buddies after work, you know, having a couple of drinks. No, he it was discipline for him too. He came home, he's tired, getting up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work. 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work, get out at 3:30. He says, wake me up. I was tired too. I didn't have to wake him up, but it was teamwork. I woke him up. He says, okay, let's go. We'll go to the gym and do the whole, the boxing workout. Just it's every day. And boxing is not seasonal. Like you got football, baseball, it's seasonal. No, boxing is full time every day. You always got to be in shape. You always got to stay disciplined. You always got to be in some kind of not maybe at the most 10 pounds above your weight class, not 20, 30 pounds, where you're fighting to make weight. So, that's what it took, man. It took a lot of hard work and dedication and just my family being there for me to accomplish what I did, get that far in the boxing world. And
which back to the next question, which would have been how important is winning in the work ethic? What does it take to be a champion? Which you're starting to say that. In the business world, it's you don't think it as a competitive sport, but it is. I wake up, I'm very competitive. I like salespeople that are competitive. I like support staff that's competitive. I like to be around that environment of competitive nature.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is it's just you have to have a plan, right? You got to have a plan if you're going to be competitive. You just said something. I took a fight. I lost the fight. Now I was looking forward to a rematch.
Oh yeah, that's me. That's me. Everybody's programmed different, and to me, like I want to make this clear. To me, it's not even just being, making it to the top, becoming a world champion, being on Showtime, being with, Henson Brand, and it's not even about the money to me. It's just about being successful. To me, it's about being successful, So when I was little, I wanted to be, started boxing. I wanted to be an Olympian. I got into it. I'm like, I grew up 1984 Olympics, Pernell Whitaker, Evander Holyfield, Melrick Taylor, all those guys won gold medals. So when I was coming up, I started boxing in 1980. I'm like, man, maybe I could represent the United States in the Olympics one day. And sure enough, I got there. Then when I turned pro, I want to be a world champion. And I got there.
You got there.
Now, when I got into the broadcasting career and I see the big broadcasters, big names doing the broadcasting, I want to get to that top, and that's my next. I'm there. I'm already there. I've been with Showtime for 10 years now. 10 years. Yeah, but I'm going on my 10th year, and I'm almost there.
Right.
I'm almost there, and I hope I get it.
No,
I
watched you. You did amazing.
Yeah.
So, which brings another question. And I'm going to ask both of y'all. Like, it's different perspectives. What does the word sacrifice mean to you? And I'll ask you after that. And for people that are watching, like I think a lot of people miss that.
Sacrifice for me is I'll tell you what, look, there's a small little story. I know it's might not be so much about sacrifice, but it's gonna go into that when I start talking about it. But when I was coming up, with my dad and my family as a fighter, I couldn't afford the boxing shoes. This is a pretty good story. I like the boxing shoes because they were expensive, the real boxing shoes. So my dad, remember Kmart, my dad went and bought some steel roller skates. The steel, where they have, the steel wheels and stuff. Yeah. So he took them off. They were red and yellow. They almost looked like a clown, the So he took off the wheels, and then at the bottom with a knife, he kind of like slashed it so I won't slip. So that was my first pair of boxing gloves. Boxing shoes. Yeah. Wow. Back then, I think them skates must have been like $5-6. But that's what I used. And then my mom, she used to sew. She used to make dresses for my sister. She made my boxing shorts. She would go. What was the name of some fabric store? Was it Cloth World or I don't know what it was called. I don't know what it was called. But she would buy all the stuff, all the material to make my, with the stripe and then the big elastic. Yeah. And I had different colors. I had red with black. I had white with black, blue. So she made all my boxing for amateurs. She made all that. So, and that's sacrificing to me in some kind of way. But when you talk about sacrifice and you want to get to where I wanted to get, again, this is when I became a national champion and I'm already top amateur, right? When I was growing up, it was more like a hobby, but it was an addicted hobby. I wanted to be the best. Yeah. But everybody's eating burgers on the holidays, eating fajitas and everything, and I have to eat a salad because I got to sacrifice this tournament that I'm getting ready because I'm gonna travel to Dallas, Texas. That was exciting for me. So, you know, and I want to win that tournament. And I have to eat a salad because I'm cutting weight and I gotta make weight.
Right.
Having to get up before school and go run. And up to this day, all my classmates, everybody, I grew up in the North Shore area, and I went to North Shore High School in 1989, by the way. Yeah. Mustangs. So, anyways, yeah, Mustangs, yeah. So everybody could tell you, man, they remember Raul like Forrest Gump. You know, I would run all over. They knew like my routes. I ran all over North Shore. There's no route that you could. I mean, people would, up until now, they see me. I remember you used to pass by my house all the time. I used to run. Wow. And then, I mean, seriously, to me, you know, when they tell me that, I mean, I like it. Well,
they had no idea you were going to be a world champion.
Yeah, but they remember that focus that I had and that discipline that I had.
They were probably thinking, he's crazy.
I know.
Man, he's running out there every day.
Yeah, all the time.
You were a world champion.
Yeah, you're right. I used to have this job, Fry's Restaurant. It's not there no more on Uvalde. And I used to run. We used to wear some khaki pants. It was a uniform and a little captain hat, you know. And I was a waiter there. I would run, Eric. I would run from work to my house.
Wow.
Because I knew that that's gonna help me for my next tournament. You know, if I didn't have time, and then I would run. You know, track and field. I joined track and field to get me to a better conditioning. I ran the mile, the 2 mile, cross country to better myself in the boxing world. So all that was my sacrifice, and it's paid off. I can't, you know, it's really paid off. You know, again, I made the Olympics, and even to this point, I'm still, you know, involved in the boxing world at this level.
And I'll say this before I ask Kara the same thing. And so sacrifice involved things that you like that you could have had, but you chose not to. There's discipline. Time from family. When you were a champion.
When I was a champion. Yeah. Time away from my kids. Time away from wife. Yeah. Even now, when I travel with Showtime, I'm gone for a week. So yeah, time, but that's the sacrifice you gotta make.
What about just thinking with my past and everything? I feel like your health, being a boxer, I cannot imagine. I mean, you literally would have to want to win as much as you want to breathe every day, because that's not a simple sport, and there's a good chance that you could hurt yourself pretty badly.
That is another thing, and we all know how boxers, you know, we take blows to the head, you know, and some fighters take it different ways. I don't know if you've ever been around some fighters that maybe took a lot of punishment, and obviously they're not right, you know, because of the effects of boxing, you know, the trauma, and I feel like I'm blessed, you know, that I feel like I'm not one of those fighters that, you know, got affected up until now, you know. But they say once you retire, after 7-10 years, if you don't see any effects, you're gonna be fine, you know. I'm not saying it can't happen later on when I get older, but up until now, I think I'm able to show that, you know, I'm able to speak well, I think, and, you know, obviously they have me on Showtime for a reason, but it's a tough sport. It's a sad sport too, because a lot of punishment, you know, to your getting blows to the head. I mean, it takes a toll on you, and it affects people different ways.
We won't get into names and stuff, but you've come across some world champs that aren't where they should be. Right. Because it's affected them a certain way, and they lack that discipline that you have.
They do. And of course, you know, just like any other athlete, that's not, you know, bringing nobody down. There's other things behind it, you know, drinking, partying, drugs, all that. And that, with the punches, it doesn't mix. It's not going to go well.
Right. Look, you just said you were born in a one-bedroom home in Mexico with a midwife. If you don't know what that is, Google it.
Right. And my parents, you know, you know, we're illegal aliens, right? And we came to Chicago, and my brother was born there, and you know, like my dad has always said, this is the land of opportunities.
And then you represent us in the Olympics.
And then I present, this is a land of opportunity, and you know, it's there. All the opportunities are there to be taken. You just gotta work hard and be disciplined and follow the right path, man. Stay on that line. Every now and then, you might jump off that line, but try to get back on. Don't jump off and then veer off. I always say you know, just keep going straight.
Be accountable for your mistakes.
That's it.
Yeah, be accountable for your mistakes. Guys, you can find Raul Marquez on Facebook, on Instagram. Go follow him. You can also follow him here at Henson Brand. He's got, I like his content. It's a lot of family stuff, a lot of boxing stuff. So guys, all those sacrifices, look at that. Kids at the zoo, kids are good, healthy, kids are growing up, they're developing. You're still making an impact on your community, on people like us, on Showtime Box.
That's it.
And all that stuff, man. We appreciate you. You're an amazing human being. And Kara, you got any closing comments?
I don't know about you, but I feel really motivated now. Like, I want to go to the gym. I need to like run outside and generate some leads for the dealership. Need to take some lessons from this guy.
There we go.
5 a.m. And where's your gym? Just so for people are watching.
It's in Humble, 401 Wilson Road, Raul Marquez Boxing Fitness. It's more of a fitness, boxing. It's obviously a growing sport. Everybody knows about boxing, but we know that movie stars and musicians and just people in general, they use it to cardio to lose lose
Everyone
weight.
I know that boxes is in great shape.
Lose weight, get fit, and also kids that are getting bullied at school or kids that have a lot of energy that you need to tone them down, bring them. I'll get them in shape and get them tired, whatever. So that's what we do. That's what we focus in my gym. We don't compete, but it's more like men and women and kids doing the fitness of boxing. Nobody gets hit. It's box to get fit without getting hit with the champ, Raul Marquez.
Yeah, that would scare me. Cara Delane, Raul Marquez, Eric Barbosa. Remember, share the video. We'll see you next time.